Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and since the developers of MFF are having such a hard time understanding what characters the players want them to tier 4, I thought it would be fun to give them a list, literally, of better characters than Captain America. Obviously, we wanted Black Panther because it's the Black Panther Wakanda Forever movie. It's literally in the name. But besides Black Panther, right, who do the players really want? So I don't claim to speak for all players when I make this list, but hopefully I will have captured the essence of what the players want. Because believe it or not, and you can pause the video after I tell you this and try yourself, it's actually pretty hard to choose 10 tier 4s besides Captain America, because you have to consider the following. Okay, consider the following. First of all, they have to be existing Transcended or Tier 3 characters. You can't choose someone like Gladiator or Jubilee or Phil Coulson or Korath. You can't choose Tier 2s. That's the first thing. The second thing is you can't choose a combat type, because obviously we would be hypocrites, and I would be a hypocrite if I made this list and I put a freaking combat on it, right? You guys would crucify me. It would be justified. Third of all, you sort of have to look through the list and take away or ignore certain characters that got their Transcendence or Tier 3 very recently. Like if you made Toxin Tier 4, pretend he wasn't combat. It would just be dumb. Or if you made, you sort of get what I'm saying. We had a lot of combats lately, but if you made a character that was already, or very recently, like Morgan Le Fay, if you chose Morgan Le Fay, for example, probably wouldn't sit well with most players, so you have to ignore those. You also have to ignore characters that we know are going to be getting upgrades very soon based on existing MCU content. Like I really wanted to put Ant-Man on this list, but he's obviously getting a tier 4 for Quantumania. Obviously, right? We're going to get Kang as a new character. Blood out! We're going to get Wasp tier 3. Maybe we're going to get his kid as a new character, and maybe Hank Pym tier 3 or whatever. And Giant Man, and then we're gonna get Ant-Man tier 4, right? It's sort of already predated. So you have to consider all of that. So when you consider all of that, and you take out duds like Taskmaster, you're not gonna give Taskmaster a tier 4. Nobody needs that. The list is actually very small, but I'm not excusing myself. I did the work anyways. Oh, you also have to take out native tier 2s and native tier 3s, because we're obviously not ready for that. If the devs aren't ready to give us more tier 4 materials, then they're not ready to ask for more materials. So anyways, let's kick off the list at number 10, Beta Ray Bill. Now I know I just said no native tier 2s, but he's a little bit different because he's an Epic Quest character, and I thought Beta Ray Bill would be an interesting Epic Quest character to choose since he is universal. Now, there are other options. I know you could put Deadpool in this place, I guess, but with Beta Ray Bill, I think there was a large adoption. Like I think a lot of people have him built up, so he would be good. And right now he's just a leadership. He would have a lot of synergy with existing tier 4s like Thor and Storm. It would add even more lightning damage characters to the tier 4 pool. So I'm not super hype about this as a 10th pick, but it is my 10th pick regardless, for the reasons that I explained. At number 9, more interestingly, I think Red Skull would have been a great option if they wanted to do something. No, I was going to say for Memorial Day. A lot of people messaged this to me and mentioned it to me that they did this, the Captain America sneak peek on November 11th, which is Memorial Day. It's not Memorial Day in the whole world, but there's like whatever 20-30 countries that maybe less that observe Memorial Day on November 11th, where we pay our respects to soldiers and veterans and the fallen, and that's a great thing to do. It's just I didn't want to say that in the video for Captain America, because I didn't want to give the devs like a cheap way out of, because it's a game, right? So I don't, yeah, sure, maybe they did that, and that's cool, that's nice, that's a nice little thought, but they didn't mention it anywhere in the sneak peek, right? Traditionally, Marvel Future Fight has not been a very, Veterans Day or Memorial Day centric game anyways. I don't think they've ever done this in the past. So I kind of just chalked it up to more like dumb luck that they managed to nail this on November 11th rather than some grand scheme. So yeah, my suggestion is Red Skull. Red Skull is interesting because you have villain uniforms, of course, but one of them is speed and one of them is blast. So you do get a little bit of flexibility. Obviously, these uniforms are quite bad, But with Red Skull, it's interesting because of his passive. Imagine this dude at tier 4 having the 120% increased damage to superheroes, especially if they added more content where you could, where you had to fight against superheroes. So yeah, Red Skull, Beta Ray Bill, I know, not the best way to start off a top 10. You're probably bored, you're half asleep by now. So let's try to wake you up with number 8, Daredevil. Again, it's tough. Okay, it's really tough to choose tier 3s that are not combats or transcendents that are not combats that haven't been tier 3'd recently. Like, there's a lot of very recent tier 3s and recent transcendents in those different typing categories. But yeah, Daredevil could be quite good to offer players a cheaper option to check Adam Warlock in PvP, because you could tier 4 him and still use this uniform, because the stat bump alone at tier 4 would be excellent for him. And then they could make his new uniform, whatever it is, they could make that for PvE, and they could give him the yellow and red suit that we saw used in She-Hulk. Easy. This one's probably one of my best choices here. I know it's all the way down to number 8, but it's an excellent choice. Coming in at number 7, we see our first mutant, Wheels, aka Professor X. And this one would basically just be a mea culpa, a rare apology from the devs, because they released this uniform as essentially a reskin. A reskin of one of the coolest uniforms, I might add, that Professor X has ever seen. So they really painted themselves into a corner here where they've already used Professor X's 2 coolest and most iconic looks, and neither one of them has really pushed his power. I mean, he was meta when he came out for sure, but that was in 2020. Yeah, we're almost 3 years away from that update. Believe it or not, we're almost 3 years away. We're 4 months away from 3 years, from the 3-year anniversary. So it's time they give him an updated uniform. I don't even know what it would be at this point. There are a couple of different looks for Professor X. You give him, like, he could walk, Shadowlands, Savage Lands style. But yeah, give him a tier 3, give him a tier 4, upgrade him. We get a mutant, we get a blast type. This would be excellent. He is a premium character, so the Netmarble marketing team, they would love that because they're slimy bees. But yeah, I think it would satisfy players while satisfying their thirst for maximum profits. On the other hand, on the flip side, on the other hand of maximum profits, we have Winter Soldier coming in at number 6. Now again, you're probably wondering, Winter Soldier, Alex, that's kind of obscure, but given what I said about November 11th, Winter Soldier is probably one of the only other characters that fits into that motif of honoring veterans and soldiers on November 11th. Captain America Falcon is one of the other good ones, but again, he got his tier 3 a lot more recently than Winter Soldier. Not a lot more recently, but more recently than Winter Soldier. He was meta, right? Captain Falcon was meta. Winter Soldier was never meta. He wasn't even meta when this uniform came out. The only thing that this uniform was known for was how Neanderthal his face looked, and he actually had to undergo a face transplant in game to make him look less like, you know, the missing link between Homo sapien and Homo erectus. Anyways, I digress, but I think he would be a great option, great pick for tier 4. Coming into the top 5 here, easy pick. A lot of people were hoping to see it sooner, especially for Miss Marvel. We have Captain Marvel. Basically, every player has this character and at least one of her more recent uniforms, whether it's from the movie, whether it's from Endgame, or whether it is from the Last Avenger that turns her into a villain. But this is another really good option, and the devs should really consider it because of the flexibility. You get a universal female hero, which is a very much needed category for upgrades for tier 4s, and you get a universal female supervillain. Really nice. I don't really need to say more about Captain Marvel. I think she's an excellent choice. But yeah, coming in at number 4, we have Cyclops, another mutant. I know, another blast type. I know, but you sort of get the vibe here. They've had a lot of options and opportunities to upgrade him, but they've really just kept him as a support. So now, at least for the time being, is the chance to give him some time in the sun. Give him a House of X, powers of 10, whatever. You know, give him one of the new Hickman-inspired uniforms. Boom. Or give him the one from Hellfire Gala. Boom. Make him tier 4. Make him relevant now. Right? He'll fade into obscurity in a year or two, and he'll still be relegated to a leadership/support. That's fine. But give Cyclops some time now to actually be a powerhouse, because he's literally never been. He's always been a support. He's always been just a leadership to make other characters stronger. And that's kind of sad. Plus, we need more mutant tier 4s, right? So I think this sort of nails it. Coming in at number 3, I know this is going to sound a little bit repetitive, but if they don't like Professor X and they don't like Cyclops, I have one more last-ditch hope as a request for a mutant tier 4. Magneto. A little bit more expensive, so it sells the crystal packs. Black Friday's coming up. People are going to be more incentivized to buy Magneto and go through that epic quest. You can sell the epic quest. You can sell them on Jean Grey, especially if they're newer players and they never adopted her. Magneto would have been excellent, right? Excellent option as a tier 4. You get a really cool supervillain Blast male. And again, they could finally make him meta because he never really, like Cyclops, he never really was meta. Never really anything, not even a leadership for mutants, because generally speaking, there are better leaderships or more flexible leaderships because his is just 45% with nothing more. So yeah, that's the top 10 to 3. We have 2 more to go here. So coming in at number 2, we have Ghost Rider, probably one of the most popular Universal tier 1, tier 3 heroes, like tier 1 cost 800 CCF heroes. When he got his tier 3, it was a game changer. I could feel the community just rising up and like, yeah, because Ghost Rider was a breath, maybe a breast, and a breath of fresh air. So giving him a tier 4, finally giving him a heal with a new uniform would just be absolutely epic. We would get another Universal to go with Black Bolt and Thor. We would actually get more elements as well because we would get fire this time. It would be excellent, excellent, excellent. But he's not number 1. Why is he not number 1? Because the number 1 character I think people want to see for tier 4 is Rogue. I know I said I was done with the mutants. I lied. There are 4 mutants on my list: Professor X, Cyclops, Magneto, and Rogue. I didn't put Mystique on this list because she was in the icons for this month, along with Human Torch, and Black Bolt was in last month's, and then he got one. So I'm guessing that Human Torch and Mystique might be getting a tier 4 sooner rather than later. So I didn't want to seem like Nostradamus by choosing them on this list and just being kind of lazy. So we're going to go with Rogue here. Excellent speed type, a variety of damage from mine to electricity to lightning, and just excellent. Just an excellent character. Gives you a lot of the flexibility that we're hoping for in tier 4s, right? You got female mutant, and you have speed type, which players are just begging for more of them after the semi-flop of Black Widow. But yeah, plus Rogue, a lot of players already have her built up from Squad Battle for the last 2 years. So I think this would hit on a lot of existing characters, or existing players' rosters, rather than being someone very obscure that very few players have. That would then have to be, built up on the fly, like sort of like Blue Dragon. So yeah, that's my top 10 list for tier 4s that they should have given us instead of Captain America. Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.